The press briefing, according to government, was to set the record straight on the state of the energy sector because, in their view, the NDC has created an impression that the sector is in distress due to mismanagement by the government. The NDC recently, at its national policy dialogue, touted its role in building a robust energy sector. It indicated that the necessary legal structures were put in place during their regime to ensure accountability. A key highlight of these frameworks is the setting up of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC. The committee charged with the responsibility of ensuring transparency in the accountability and management of petroleum revenue has over the years presented reports making known their findings on how Ghana's oil revenues are used. It also makes recommendations for action to be taken on them by government. A recent publication of PIAC was on the government's free senior high school policy because it receives a huge chunk of the country's oil revenue. Among other things, the committee asks government to speed up the provision of additional infrastructure to end double-track system and reintroduce cut-off grades for entry into senior high schools. But the government says PIAC is weak and inefficient in its role.
They created PIAC, as we call it, in short. But they created a weak PIAC. As a committee, they did not have teeth to bite, as they were merely required to produce semi-annual reports and annual reports, whose adverse findings cannot be enforced. PIAC cannot summon officials, PIAC cannot prosecute. That is the PIAC they are claiming credit for. The MPP government is currently holding consultations with stakeholders on a new bill, the Draft Natural Resource Governance Bill, which is going to empower PIAC to enforce its findings.
The NDC has also argued that the energy sector is indebted to the tune of 15 billion Ghana cedis. Part of the debt, according to the party, is a $1 billion loan procured without prior approval from Parliament, a claim that has since been discounted by government. A Deputy Energy Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, indicated that evaluations by government confirmed that the debt level has increased astronomically. He was, however, quick to blame the opposition NDC for it.
We have evaluated and finally got Ernst & Young to further evaluate the state of the debt. And we found that the debt has ballooned, it's increased. The debt has increased as a result of inter-utility debts, which again was caused by the NDC.
The NDC has also questioned the renegotiation of a petroleum deal between government and Accra Energy. They described the deal which reduced the participating interest of GMPC from 15% to 3%, and that of GMPC Exploco from 24% to 0% as warring. More disturbing for the opposition party was how a company known as Quad Energy, with alleged suspicious ownership structure, and a free 5% carried interest in the agreement. At the press briefing, government explained that there was nothing untoward about the renegotiated deal and that it was in the interest of the country.
The AGM petroleum agreement was signed under the NDC government. However, the company could not meet its minimum obligations. Following the acquisition of the company, the new owner presented a request to government for renegotiation to provide some incentives to support the prospects presented by the block that is described in Ghana as the deepest oil block.
For government, comments by the NDC on the state of Ghana's energy sector are lies and lack any factual evidence. Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajeman.